Hi, today we're going to start out standing and we're going to warm up your feet and your hands before we get down to the floor. I want you to begin with your feet parallel, about hip width apart, and pause for a second to set your posture. Try to carry your body weight over your heels. So let's just do a little rocking forward and backwards so you can feel movement at your ankles that brings your body weight towards your toes and then towards the back of your foot. Next time your weight arrives on your heels, let's stay there. Try to feel the weight of your heels pushing down into the ground. As you make that little push force, you're going to feel the top of your head rising up towards the ceiling into a taller posture. Now try to sustain that, go into a nice fluid breathing pattern, and we're just going to pick up all your toes and then drop them down to the mat and just lifting and dropping. If you're familiar with this exercise, you could turn it into a lift, spread of the toes, and drop, just so we're kind of maximizing that movement there. And one more time. I want you to lift up one heel, and you're just going to rock the weight of your foot inside and outside. So I'm rolling across the transverse pad where all the knuckles are to the inside and outside, letting my ankle and my leg go along. So I'm mobilizing all those joints. All right, let's switch to the other side, just rolling in and out. Be careful in the size of this if you are weak at your ankles, if you have a history of a lot of sprains. You don't want to push too far that way. Okay, now I'm going to have you go into a weight shifting pattern. Go into a squat, swinging your arms forward. Rise back up, so at that moment my weight's in the heels. I'm going to take my arms overhead, balance on the feet, and come back to stand. Let's do that less sloppy. A squat, a stand, a heel raise, heel drop. Yeah, I definitely can't talk, look at you, and exercise at the same time. So my hips are going back in space in the squat, my weight shifting forward to the balls of the feet on the heel raise. And that's really the only time I want to be in the forefoot. So weight's in the back, I maintain it through the range of the squat, shift my weight forward. Mobility in your foot, the rotational quality that lets you adjust to uneven surfaces, and the mobility in your toes, especially the ability to extend, which is opposite to how our feet usually work in our shoes, is really important for good balance. Do one more time. So if there's a theme for today's workout, that's going to be it. I want you to take your hands, lace them together. We're going to do a couple wrist circles too. I promised a tension in your hands as well. Reverse the direction of that. Okay, so just get a little mobility through the ankles. That would be wrists. And then back again. All right, we're going to do one more standing exploration. This one might seem a little weirder, but it will bring attention into your hands. Okay, I want you to take one arm, and I want you to make a fist. And not just closing your hand, but with the intention of a fist. I want you to make tension in your arm, and you're going to keep that arm tense, this one relaxed, and I want you to do some free movement with that arm. In addition to the squeezing tension that you're making by holding a fist, I want you to pretend that no matter where you move the arm, the rest of your body can follow to help you express the movement, but I want you to pretend you're moving through mud. So there's also kind of this exaggerated quality of pushing, moving slowly, making that internal resistance as if it was relating to an outside environment that's not really there. And this is one of those times there's kind of no right or wrong, depending on if you hold pain, if you have like pain in your back or your hips, you may not be moving your body parts the same as me. Just explore what feels okay to do. All right, now before we do the other arm, now I want you to continue moving that arm freely. But now let's go for like a loose, soft, expansive motion in your arm, where we're trying to move as if there's less gravity. There's energy out your fingertips, freedom in your wrist, in your elbow, and in your shoulder. And just notice that contrast. In movement, in your body, in your posture, in your life, we're never going to be tension-free, right? It's about a balance of tension and compression, of expanding and contracting. And so we made a compressive, not to be confusing with words, but the compression, that tension that I made you create is actually a bunch of compression versus the expansion. We kind of use tension a little differently in bodywork. All right, let's make tension again. Other arm. So we're squeezing that fist really tight, aware of your biceps, aware of your deltoids, and then you're gonna start moving. Ooh. So another kind of body nerdish kind of thing. I don't know if in science class when you're in high school you ever made oobleck or you mixed cornstarch with water and it kind of makes this special kind of slime. It's a non-Newtonian fluid, meaning it doesn't follow those properties. And if you move your hand through it slowly, it's kind of like moving through honey, where it's a thick viscosity, but you can handle it like it's still liquid. But if you were to punch into it really fast, it gets hard and firm, and you can't actually go into it like a liquid anymore. And so this is kind of in our imagination, we're just changing that property. You're pushing through this environment that's harder or softer, needs more or less force. Okay, now let that go and just give me some free motion there. Remember to incorporate the rest of your body as able. And thinking of free motion, do not worry about being symmetrical to what you did on the other side. You're going to be drawn to doing different motions with your dominant side versus not dominant, or you're responding maybe to any pain you have somewhere else in your body. Just let it be. Notice it. Don't change it. Okay. Let's head down onto the floor. Let's go right into kneeling. And I want you to set up a quadruped position with your weight even between your arms and your legs. And then just like a knuckles worth, walk your hands out a little bit farther than we usually keep them. Let's start out with the isolation of scapular retraction and protraction. So I want you to think about how your shoulder blades are existing against your back right now. And if you can't feel them, brace away from the floor with your arms. And that kind of pushes your ribs against the inside of the shoulder blades to sense them more. When you breathe in, I want you to draw your shoulder blades in towards your spine. You'll feel your chest sliding back down towards the floor slightly. Then as you exhale, push away from the ground again. As the ribs lift, your shoulder blades will spread. And again, inhale, retracting. Exhale, protracting. Drawing the blades together and then apart and twice more like that. Try to resist shrugging the shoulders up towards the ears and feel all the muscles around the scapula helping, gliding together to move the blades on your back. Now keep pushing away from the floor, and I want you to sense that now with your hands, but also with your knees. And now you're going to weight shift forward and back. So make sure your toes are curled under like mine are. I'm going to sit back almost towards the heels and forward. Now I use the heels as a reference point, not a landing point. So if I sit on them, my back flexes. I'm just going in the direction of my heels, the direction of my hands. My goal here is to keep my back flat the whole time. As I weight shift back towards my legs, though, I'm again working on some mobility through the toes. Great for any plank work you do. One more time. And then forward. All right, remember that move, it'll kind of be back later. Let's do a thread the needle. I'm going to just turn my body toward you for a second. I want you to take one arm, you're going to reach it underneath the other one, you're going to sit back like we did before. Now today, go ahead into the twist. Just hang out there. I'm going to have you leave your arm reaching through with your shoulder dropping towards the floor, and then you're going to turn your head to the opposite side, and then back towards the arm that's threading under. Opposite side, and then towards the hand. One more time, rotating towards the hand, and then come back up to the center. Now I'll do that sideways when I go to the other side, just so you can see that aspect, in case you don't know this one. All right, so I'm going to rotate, let the weight of the hips go back, and I'm going to let that twisting shoulder drop down towards the floor. Now I'm going to turn my head looking towards that opposite shoulder, and then back towards the hand that goes underneath. And from one side to the other, one side to the other, and then I'll come on back out of that again. All right, make sure those toes are curled under. I want you to repeat the weight shift again. If you're up for it, let's do it with your knees hovering off the mat. If not, do what you did before. All right, so I'm going to lean forward towards my hands a little bit to set that up. Pick my knees up just off the ground, and now I'm going to shift back towards my heels and forward towards the hands. Back and forward. So this is going to create a little springier action, more like a pounce, you can imagine. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1. Release your knees back down. All right, uncurl your toes, and now I do want you to sit all the way back into a shell stretch. thinking long through that shell. I'm reaching my arms away, sitting the hips back, so I'm getting a nice traction up the sides of my body, my low back, my shoulders. Now I'm going to bend one elbow in by my side as I exhale and take the other arm across on a big inhale for a side bend. Exhale, that hand comes down. Inhale, I'm going to reach the other arm across. And we're just going to keep repeating that back and forth. Exhale as you tuck your elbow in. Inhale as you stretch. Exhale, tuck. Inhale over. One more to each side. And big stretch. Back to the center. And big stretch. All right, return to the middle. Roll up through your spine. Let's go down onto your back. Begin with your feet set wide, so the outside of the foot's at the outside edge of the mat. Let's hip roll, rotating your legs in and out. Start out in a neutral spine with your knees just a little bit laterally rotated. Inhale to prepare. When you exhale, start to curl your hips off the mat. At the same time, let your knees fall into the center. And then as you roll back down, you're going to inhale into your back, gradually turning your knees out in time with the spine releasing. So as you exhale, you want to curl through flexion, let the knees fall in. You're going to feel a little stretching, wrapping around you that way, and then roll back down and let your knees turn out. Exhale, curling up, knees falling into center, and then roll back down and rotate the legs out. Walk your feet in so they're just hip width apart, a little closer to your body. Now you're going to take an exhale breath, roll yourself up, keeping your knees parallel, or your legs parallel to each other as you roll up. Now this time you're going to reach one arm overhead, and you're going to roll back down. So we added a rotational component to the first style, but now here we're just going to add an extra stretch for your lat. So this challenges your left-right stability. Arm down by your side. Exhale, curl your hips off. Reach your other arm overhead, and then roll back down, pulling your hips away from your shoulders. Inhale to lower your arm. Exhale, curl yourself off, pushing your knees away from your shoulder. Inhale, arm reaches overhead, and then roll back down. Release your arm. One more time, curl yourself off. Breathe in, other arm lifts overhead, and then roll back down, and you can return that arm. Let's take your hands behind your head, angle your elbows up a little bit. We're going to go into the ab prep. Just to kind of get grounded, get all your attention in the right places, let's start out on a 2-breath pattern, just a regular crunch. Inhale before you start, then exhale as you nod your chin and curl your head and shoulders off the mat till you're at the bottom tip of the blade, and inhale to lower back down. As you exhale, nod your chin, flex forward, sliding your shoulders down. Inhale as you return. Exhale as you lift, gazing toward your thighs. Inhale to lower. 2 more times. Round forward on your exhale. And inhale, lower. Exhale, curl up. And inhale, back down. Add a march as you lift up. So exhale, you're going to take one leg into the air. Lower back down. Switch legs every time. Exhale up. Inhale, lower. Now, if you're familiar with this one, I want you to bring your attention back into your feet. Focus on how you're landing your foot. Try to roll toe to heel. Lift heel to toe, lower toe to heel. So we're just bringing a little more sensory attention down into that aspect of the exercise, which is nice to me because it feels like this soft attention, where here I've got a real hard, firm compression attention. One more. I'm making this up as I go for sure. And exhale up and then back down. Now I want you to rock into an imprinted position. So just give me a small tilt so your low back feels a little flatter, your abs feel a little shorter, and try to stay there as you lift up one leg and then the other to tabletop. All right, let's leave your head up. We're going to do a set of bend and stretch. On your exhale, nod your chin. Curl up your head and shoulders. Now we're going to alternate reaching out one leg at a time. Exhale as you extend the leg. Inhale as they start to switch. Exhale, reach your other leg out. We're just going to keep going back and forth. And exhale, inhale, and exhale. And reach. You've got 8, 7. Keep curling up, rib to hip. If your neck gets tired, head goes down. Keep doing the rest of the move. One more each side. Tuck both knees in, but leave those legs up. Drop your head. We're going to try to repeat that one more time with both legs going in and out. Nod your chin, curl up your head and shoulders, look at your legs. Stay to breathe in. When you exhale, extend both legs. Inhale, and I'm going to add flexing the feet and pointing the toes now. Just to get one more joint incorporated in the motion, pretend you're jumping, right? So we crouch and then spring away, pointing the toes. And exhale one more time. Reach away, now as you bend those knees, drop your head down. Just give your knees a little squeeze in towards your chest, and then out a little wider, so that shoulder width, another squeeze in towards your chest. And then you could release your feet back down. Okay, turn onto your side, push yourself up. Next, we're going to go into the half roll back exercise. So you're going to sit with your knees bent, either your feet flat or walked out a little bit farther with your toes off. And you want to start sitting up on your sit bones. If you can't get there, grab a cushion. And if you sit with your hips up a little higher, that might help. All right, I'd like you to reach your arms forward at chest height. We're going to start out with 3 reps of the exercise done in its regular form. So you'll start flexing your upper body over your legs, so you're looking down at the knees. Inhale here. When you exhale, curl your pelvis back and try to keep your low back rounded as you curl down towards the mat. On the inhale, take it forward till you're back on your sit bones again. So your goal is to keep your spine flexed like you're in a C shape or a J shape and dive forward. And the movement, like I'm turning a radio dial, I'm rolling my pelvis to curl myself back and then forward. All right, I only said we were doing 3 regular ones, so there we are. Okay, now we're going to add an arm circle. As you roll back, I want you to swing your arms down low out to the sides. Here's where it's hard at that moment, and then dive forward over your knees. Exhale, roll back, tuck up your pubic bone. Inhale, bring that extra weight of the arms with you. Make sure the arms stay a little forward of you. No sense in having it behind the head. That's just going to cause strain in the neck. And then up and over. Now try to reverse it. So the arms go with the head, rolling back. Now I'm going to circle the arms around, swoop forward to the legs. Roll back, circle around. Roll down, circle. One more time, exhale back. Inhale, circle. Roll up to sitting. All right. From there, we're going to turn into a mermaid position. So if you had a wide stance with those bent legs, you can just let them flop over to the side. If this is uncomfortable, this is another opportunity to grab a cushion. If your hips are up a little higher, take some of the rotation out of your legs. You're going to leave one hand down on the floor, other arms reaching out to the side. This is kind of like a thread the needle too. You're going to rotate towards the arm on the floor, and at the same time I want you to flex the spine. So my arm's gesturing like a thread the needle, but my abs are pulling back like a cat stretch. I want to be round. Then as I inhale, I'm going to rotate away from the hand on the floor, push into the ground, lift the chest and chin into extension. Exhale, turn towards the floor, dropping your head. Inhale, lift from your heart, rotate away, look at the hand. Exhale as you turn, bowing your head down. Inhale, lift up from the chest, look at the fingers. 2 more times, rotate. And inhale, back up. One more like that. Exhale, rotate and flex. And inhale to lift. I want you to take your front leg, tuck it under, that'll become your bottom leg, top leg, stack them up like a clamshell. And let's reposition the hand on the floor so it's even with your knees. Spread your fingertips out wide, which will help distribute the pressure beyond your wrist into your whole hand. Now let's create a side bend. On your exhale, I want you to drop your working shoulder. Start to shift your ribs over, then lift your hips, and we'll take a big rainbow-shaped top arm overhead. Inhale, you're going to sit back down to the mat. And again, exhale, up and over. Your hips should feel like they're going forward as well as up towards the ceiling. And exhale, up and over. Try to keep the shoulder dropped out of the ear. Inhale to return. And one more this way, then we're going to add the star. And lower back down. All right, so instead of side bending, this will feel more like a side plank. This time as you exhale, push yourself up. Same focus on shoulder stability. But now I'm going to lift and straighten that top leg and reach the arm up. And then lower back down. So that top arm, just a continuation of the working arm, but I'm nice and strong in this side plank and lower down. That wasn't me bragging. I just meant instead of being in a side bend, be strong like me. And lower back down. 2 more times, lifting up, reaching away with both arms and the legs, and lower. Last time. Exhale up, and inhale to return. All right, let's swing your legs around the other way, and let's go all the way back to where we started in that mermaid leg. Just thinking about all those people I told to get a cushion. Hope you knew to get rid of that at some point. Oops. Spread your fingers out. Thread the needle. All right, arm out to the side. On your exhale, rotate towards the floor, reach your arm underneath, bow your head down. Remember, scoop those abs in. On your inhale, you're going to push away from the floor, rotate into extension. Exhale, come through more neutral, then flex your spine as you thread the needle. Inhale, push away from the ground. I want you to feel light and lifted through the chest. When you exhale, you can work with a sense of deflating or collapse, so that when you inhale, you can fill with the air, opening your body into the expression. Exhale, rotate, bow your head down. And then inhale, imagine that air filling all the way up to the fingertips. One more time. Exhale, soften and flex, and then push away from the floor, lift into extension. Get rid of the cushion if you have it. Stack both legs up like so. Okay, remember to move your hand forward a little bit so it's more in line with your knees to help your balance. Spread apart your fingers. All right, 4 times, let's side bend. As you exhale, drop your working shoulder, lift your hips and make a big rainbow with your spine. Inhale, land it all the way back down. And again, exhale, take it up and over, let your head fall towards that bottom arm. Inhale as you return. Exhale as you side bend, pressing your ribs right up into the skin. Inhale, come down with control. One more time like this. Exhale over. Inhale to lower back down. Let's turn it into the star. Extend your top leg, reach that arm up to the ceiling, elongating. Inhale to lower back down. And again, exhale up and away. Inhale to return. Let's do that 3 more times. Try to feel the length. Make your limbs longer. Inhale, lower. Think of your neck and your head like one more limb, so that's energized as well. One more time, stabilizing through the shoulders, pressing up, and lower back down again. All right. Let's go back to seated. Let's play around with a fun variation on rolling like a ball. When we did half roll back earlier, we were rocking that flex shape. We're going to do that again, but with your feet off the ground. Rock your pelvis back a little bit so you're starting off your sit bones already flexed through your spine. And then lift your legs up one at a time and just try to find balance there. Hands are going to go against your shins. If your arms feel too short for that to be comfortable, go behind your thighs. And let's make a little isometric contraction. Push your hands against your shins and your shins against your hands, and just notice what that tones up. In your arms, you'll feel your forearm and your biceps a little, and then you'll be aware of your quadriceps when you push your shins. Now let's start to rock back. So as you roll back, you're pushing your hands against your shins as part of that focus of the isometric. On the way up, it's your shins pushing back into your hands. Now, that's actually mechanically happening to push you forward and back. Go back to your abs. You're envisioning pulling your hips away from your thighs. So we initiate that roll back with even more tuck under from the support or the help of your glutes. Now, when we come to the top, here comes your freedom. So we're going to balance, and I want you to inhale, expand slightly. Exhale, come back to that contraction, feel the compression again. Now, inhale, roll back. Exhale, come up. So I feel the tone. Inhale, let it release. Exhale, find that ball shape. Inhale, rock back. Exhale up. Be stable first. Now breathe into your back, reach out through the limbs. Exhale, tuck it in. 3 more times. Roll back, keep the chin tucked. Exhale, lift, hold, balance. Inhale, bigger. Exhale, pull it in. 2 more. Inhale, roll under. Exhale, up and hold. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, compress. Last time. Roll back. Lift up. Stretch away. And pull it back in. Let's change how we're sitting to legs out long. They can be totally straight or slightly bent. I want you to bring your hands around behind you, fingertip touch to the floor. You're going to roll your shoulders back, lift your chest and chin to look up at the ceiling. And then I want you to round forward over your legs and bring the back of your hands together as you exhale. On the inhale, circle the arms around, lift your chest and chin, look at the ceiling. And then exhale, collapse, round forward, back of the hands together. Inhale, rise up, pushing away from the floor. And then exhale, diving down. One more time. Inhale, nice big lift, opening the chest. And exhale, forward again. Now just roll back up to sitting. Flip over onto your stomach. I want to get a round of swimming in, and then we'll get back up to standing. Okay, so once you're face down, lay with your legs about hip width apart and your toes turned out. Arms are reaching overhead about the width of your shoulders. Let's just get our hover set with a couple superhero lifts. So you're going to take a breath in to prepare. When you exhale, compress your abs using your breath as you reach your upper body, your arms and your legs just an inch or two off the mat. Then inhale, release them all back down. As you exhale, start the breath first so you feel a force pulling in towards your middle. Then let the limbs reach long and up instead of real high off the floor, and lower. One more of those. So my breath pulls the torso in for more compression as my limbs try to stretch towards the opposite walls, and then lower back down. All right, let's add a little flutter to that to make it the full swim. When you exhale, let's get into our superhero flow. Remember, lower the better. Now alternate lifting opposite arm and leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. So now you're trying to maintain that contrast. Compressive on your exhale to feel your abs. And then your inhale is that expansive phase of breath where we can focus more on the limbs getting longer. So all that's going on, and we're still dealing with gravity here. So you're also balancing out, keeping that lifting motion, using your glutes and your deltoids and your lats to get her done. And one more breath. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reach it all out long. Lower it down. I felt like I had more of a point I wanted to make, but I don't remember it. All right, sit back onto your heels. And just stay in that shell again. Nice big breath in to hold. Stay for one more exhale, creating a little more compression at your abs, holding that flexion. Last breath in, and then you're going to roll up into a sitting position. All right, I want you to come up to stand. We're going to go into some side lunges. I want to bring your attention back into your feet, but now into more of a reflexive catching yourself property where we are working on your balance system directly. So we're just going to do a weight shift. The side lunge is really just to lean your body weight away from this leg, and then you're going to come back in and try to balance on that one foot. All right, so with your arms, if this is a challenging exercise for you, I think arms out to the side where you can pretend you're on a tightrope will help. If you actually want to make it harder, keep your arms in nice and close by your ears, and that'll make you a taller structure, and that'll actually make it harder to balance if you need that. Let me just show that again. And if you're really struggling with the balance, you can just tap into the floor. You can see my side-to-side balance system is still challenged by that. Just do one more time, and up. All right, just ready for that weight shift. In case you're in a small space. All right, so I'm letting my weight go to that side and then just finding the balance again. Shifting over, lifting up. So my point with the arms was just do whatever you want. Whatever helps you have good balance. So there's that again. You want to do that? 3 more times. I hate when I suggest new things on the second side. You don't know to go backwards and fix the first side. And relax. Okay. And in a wide stance, do take your arms out to the side. I want you to hinge forward at the hips, keeping your back flat so we get whatever range of motion that is. Sit bones tipping up, arms reaching wide. And now you're going to weight shift side to side. So I'm going to come back down here just so you can see. So I'm trying to stick the sit bones out, put the pressure down into the heels, trying to get an inner thigh stretch as I come across. Now I'm going to add a rotation towards the foot on the bent knee side. We've got 6, 5, 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Come on, back up. Last but not least, pivot to the side, so you're in a staggered stance. Lace your fingers together. I'm going to drop down into a lunge, pushing the arms away. I'm going to turn through center. Now I'm in lunge to the other side. I'm going to come back up into extension, turn through center to lunge, flex, rotate across, come up to extension, and back. One more time. Flex, pivot through the center, and then back up and across. Now just go back the other way. Let's flex down. Pivot through the center to lunge, and come up, rotate across, flex down, and across. One more time, flex. Sorry about that. Back up and back to center. You're all done. All right, hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon.